to our super conscious attunement ceremony written by Swami Kriyanandaji. This ceremony is very special. It helps us to uplift our consciousness and expand our consciousness and get in attunement with God, with our gurus, with higher awareness, the higher part of our own beings. It includes some wonderful parts, which I'm sure you'll enjoy. There's chanting, there's an affirmation, there are healing prayers, there's a beautiful poem of masters that we'll read while gazing on a candle. There's chanting Om at the chakras, chanting the waves of Om, trying to feel ourselves completely immersed in Om. And there's the ringing of the gong. And after that, you can't help but meditate. So it's just as the title says, super conscious, meaning a higher consciousness, attunement, attuning ourselves, super conscious attunement and ceremony. So please stand where you are. And I love how Swamiji started this ceremony with some exercises so we can get our bodies awake and ready. So let's do a couple of exercises. Let's do the double breathing. Once more. Let's do weightlifting overhead. Lift your energy up. To the side. Stretch. Let's walk in place. Swing the arms, get your knees up high. This is the aerobics part of the exercises of energization. We'll just do one or two more after this. Feel your body waking up, the brain waking up. Every cell of the body starting to be bathed in prana and light. Let's do fencing. Bring the palms together, closing the eyes. Let's offer prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, Guru preceptors, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Layadi Mahashai, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, beloved Master, Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. We offer ourselves, we offer this ceremony up to thee. Purify us, help us to attune ourselves on the superconscious level of our being. We are here to commune with thee. Om Shanti, Shanti. We'll start now with the fire ceremony. Mantra. The Gayatri mantra is the mantra for enlightenment, for purification, for feeling yourself as light. And as we chant that mantra, just feel all darkness being taken away. And then we'll do the Mahamrityunjay mantra. We'll be offering seeds of karma, and we'll be using rice for that. And just feel that all the seeds of attachments, desires, blocks in your life, that as you can do this with me, just mentally, that you're just releasing those things as we do the second mantra. So first, the Gayatri mantra.
Saviturvaraniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayatu. Saviturvaraniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayatu. Swaha Om Tat Saviturvaraniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayatu. Swaha Om Tat Saviturvaraniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayatu. Saviturvaraniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayatu. Saviturvaraniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayatu.
Feel a sense of freedom as we do the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Offer all attachments into the flames of God's love and purifying light, symbolic with the rice that I'll be tossing in for all of us.
Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityurmukshiyamamritato Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityurmukshiyamamritato Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sagandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityurmukshiyamamritato Trayambakam yajamahe sagandhim pushtivaranam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshiyamamritato Om Trayambakam yajamahe sagandhim pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshiyamamritato Om Trayambakam yajamahe sagandhim pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshiyamamritato Trayambakam yajamahe sagandhim pushtivaranam urvarukamiva bandhanam mrityurmukshiyamamritato
Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Om Swaha. Meaning I offer my whole being, my whole self. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Start now with the chant. Sri Yogananda. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner freedom, steal into my heart of hearts, banish my delusion. Sri Yogananda, guide to inner freedom, steal into my heart of hearts, banish my delusion. Sri Yogananda, Let's meditate briefly now. We'll have a longer meditation at the end of the ceremony. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, Master, from Whispers from Eternity, I was made for thee alone.
I was made for thee. I was made for thee alone. I was made for dropping flowers of devotion gently at thy feet on the altar of the morning. My hands were made to serve thee willingly, to remain folded in adoration, waiting for thy coming. And when thou comest, to bathe thy feet with my tears. My voice was made to sing thy glory. My feet were made to seek thy temples everywhere. My eyes were made a chalice to hold thy burning love and the wisdom falling from thy nature's hands. My ears were made to catch the music of thy footsteps echoing through the halls of space, and to hear thy divine melodies flowing through all heart tracts of devotion. My lips were made to breathe forth thy praises and thine intoxicating inspirations. My love was made to throw incandescent searchlight flames to find thee hidden in the forest of my desires. My heart was made to respond to thy call alone. My soul was made to be the channel through which thy love might flow uninterruptedly into all thirsty souls. Om Guru.
A reading from the Essence of Bhagavad Gita by Master Paramhans Yogananda. There's a beautiful story of how Krishna came to be Arjuna's charioteer. Arjuna and Duryodhana went separately to Krishna to try to enlist his help in the forthcoming war. Krishna was asleep, so they both waited patiently. Duryodhana seated by Krishna's head, Arjuna at his feet. When Krishna awoke, he found them both to be there. To be fair, therefore, he gave them a choice, either the help of his entire army or himself, inactive in battle, giving only advice. Arjuna was given the first choice, since on waking, Krishna had seen him first. Arjuna chose Krishna. Even though he would be inactive on the battlefield, Duryodhana, the materialist, was well content with having a whole army of which he himself would in any case be the general.
Welcome again, friends. It's a joy to share with you on this special day, this ceremony, but also these promising, really wonderful words from Master, from the whispers from eternity, and also from the Gita, because we are, who was Arjuna really? Arjuna is each one of us, and Krishna is the Lord, is God, is Babaji, is guiding each one of us. And as we think about these beautiful words that Arjuna chose the Lord. He could have chosen all the armies, he could have chosen, meaning he could have chosen materialism, but he chose, I want God first and I want God alone. And what does that mean? That it's very deep in a way that he asked Krishna to drive his chariot, meaning to guide his whole being. The 5 horses are symbolic of the 5 senses. And he's asking Krishna, show me how to subdue, show me how to redirect, show me how to transcend, show me how to bring the energy from the senses back into the spine and use it and draw that energy up for spiritual progress. And so Krishna shows Arjuna the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, which are, there's so many wonderful techniques. I don't think many people realize it, but their practices, Kriya Yoga is talked about, Hangsa in the spine is talked about, the Om technique is talked about, lifting up the Kundalini is talked about, opening, awakening the chakras, going through the spiritual eye. Of course, there are many other things, Seva and Satsang and all the other ways of the path that we need to follow. But Krishna is showing Arjuna how to cut the sense telephone wires. This is so beautiful, how to go beyond or above, we could say, the senses and the calls of the world and the delusions of the world and the problems. Today we're talking about what is the problem, what are tests really in a devotee's life. Tests are inside yourself. It's all how you deal with it. And so Krishna is showing Arjuna, don't go outside yourself, go inside yourself. Inside yourself, you will see there's a whole nother story playing there. There's a whole nother light. There's peace, there's calmness, there's power, there's wisdom. It's all inside of you. You must go within. And this is the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. Many people just don't understand it. Master said the first time it's revealed. It's a revealed scripture. And it's the scripture for today, showing us how to live our lives, going inside. And as we go inside, then the problems, they become smaller and smaller until they're not there. And Master showed this. People think, well, Masters never have any difficulties. They don't have any problems. Well, Master had many problems. If you just read any book about his life, he had difficulties with get it when he was in America. He had money problems there. He had his best friend betrayed him. He had problems with, he couldn't buy food for the ashram. You probably know the story. They had to plant tomatoes, and that's all they had for a while was tomato soup, tomato stew, tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, any kind of tomatoes. That's all they could eat. And he had problems with his legs at a point. He had difficulty with many other things, but he showed that once there was a wishing well, and it fell on one of his feet. And he said, now I'm going to show you, if I lift my consciousness up, which is what our path is about, any true yogic path, any true path is about lifting up. I'm going to show you how I'm going to shift my consciousness. And he looked at the spiritual eye, and even though the pain was in his feet, he didn't feel it. His face was just wonderful, just open and just no tension, nothing. Then he said, now when I left my consciousness go down, now watch. And he let his consciousness go down, and they saw the pain that he was going through. And he said, now watch, I'm going to lift my consciousness up. This is such a beautiful lesson for any devotee if we lift our consciousness up. I remember Swami Kriyanandaji, he also went through many different tests and persecution and health. I think he was in the hospital more than anybody that I know. He was full of joy. And I remember once being there, we would sometimes go, some of the devotees, and just to be with Swamiji so he wouldn't be alone in the hospital. So a couple of us were there, and Swamiji was asleep. And so we just were very quiet. And then one of the people, the person who was with me, there was a big bowl of fruit and had some mangoes in it. And we were in America then, and it was like, you don't get good mangoes that often there. So he had his hand on one of the mangoes, and we just thought, well, Swamiji sleeping. He doesn't know anything. And Swamiji woke up. He said, why don't you have a mango? And he just was not in a sleepy body. Even though his body was resting and it was healing, his consciousness was just soaring. And there's another beautiful story of Sri Ramakrishna where he had throat cancer, and he was on some of his last days, and his disciples were with him, and they said, oh, Master, one went to him, he says, well, how are you feeling? And Sri Ramakrishna said, oh, I feel bad, that's really bad. And then the disciple went away, and then he told everybody, he feels so bad. And so he comes back again a little bit later, he says, well, Master, how are you feeling? And he said, it's terrible. I just feel awful. And the disciple goes back. He says, the Master's feeling awful. Then he comes back out there. He says, Master, tell us, how are you feeling? He says, oh, you just can't bear it. I just can't bear the pain. And then the disciple goes away, and he tells the others, he sang this, but it doesn't seem like he's really feeling that. And then Ramakrishna only smiled. Because he was in that body. You go through things with the body, but if you can lift your consciousness up, we'll go through things in this world. There'll be one disaster after another. I mean, we're in the world of Maya until we can break out. And what the beautiful thing about yoga is, you can break out now. It's not when you leave the body. You can break out of the movie, out of the Leela. No, I'm watching the big movie, as Master said. And he showed us how to go through the light, in the tunnel of light at the spiritual eye, go into the ocean of blue light and pierce the star, going into the infinite. And this is what people those books, Life After Life, who've had near-death experiences, they talk about. I went through a tunnel, and I was in this light, and I heard wonderful sounds in that light, and then they came back to tell those stories. Well, in yoga, we can go through that tunnel every day. You just break out of the form of the body. You lift the energy up and break out. And this is what the test of a disciple and a devotee is about. Can you break out? Not in you just be weak and worrying all the time and doubtful and fearful. This is not right. And Krishna told Arjuna when he said, I cannot fight anymore. And our Krishna told him, you must fight, you must get up. The devotee must, time after time after time. I remember a time I just felt like I couldn't help anybody do anything. And Swami Kriyanandaji told me, this is the time now, you need to get out and help people. I just thought, how can I help anybody? And he was so right. It just pulled me right out of those difficulties. I remember once I was going back and forth from the ashram to his house, and he just had me doing so many things. I was just busy 24 hours a day, and I thought, I got so many problems, but I have no time. Isn't that the wonderful thing? If you keep yourself busy and energized and do the practices and be affirmative. Swamiji was ever affirmative, and he went through so many difficulties. Remember once there was either the temple fell down or burned down. I don't remember which. One of the early temples at Ananda Meditation Retreat now it's called. This is the only property of Ananda then that Swamiji himself with his own hands helped to build. And something happened. And so Swamiji was lying near the temple. He had his sleeping bag there after the disaster happened. And someone went, I think it was Jyotishji, went near him to try to console him. He said, oh, Swamiji's going to need our support and our help. And he goes near and he hears Swamiji just very quietly saying, joy, joy, joy. And he thought, how can he be saying joy? And then the next day, Swamiji goes to the local store, and he was singing. And the lady who was checking him out, the counter, said, well, how can you be singing? Didn't your temple just burn down or whatever happened to it? And he said, well, I lost a temple. I didn't lose my voice. Isn't that a beautiful response? This was his training. Have you lost everything? No. Have you lost your heart's love? Have you lost God? Have you lost your soul? Have you lost your consciousness? Even when the body goes, you don't lose it. You don't lose those. You just merge like the wave merging in the ocean of light. And I was thinking another very beautiful story of Swamiji when he was going up skiing with some of the devotees at Ananda village. And the tires, it was in the snow, of course, snow, and the tires were kind of bald. And so at a certain point, the car just started spinning around, and then the car just ran into a big bus. And the car was just demolished, and nobody was hurt. But then they get out of the car, and they do what they have to do. They get somebody to come get the car and everything. And then because Swamiji knew that car's finished. So then he looks at the bus and he says, well, this bus is just going where we want to go. Why don't we get on the bus? I just love that spirit. So they get on the bus. So the other devotees are wondering, what about the car? They get on the bus, and the people on the bus said, well, isn't that your car over there? And Swamiji says, yes. Well, aren't you worried about your car? And he said, well, I'd be fine in 2 weeks. How come I'm not fine now? And this is the spirit of a devotee. Tests come, you just get your energy up. We have affirmations, we have healing prayers, we have energization, we have yoga postures, we have the music, we have hundreds of talks by Swamiji, masters talks, we have guru bhais, we have places we can come to, we have online, we have absolutely everything to be able to uplift ourselves and uplift our consciousness during difficult times. And we need to do, not to shirk our responsibilities. What Swamiji said, that master, outright disaster, he would take away from his own good karma, he would take from the disciple. Or you might think he would take some of that at least, but if you needed to learn something, he let you go through it. It wasn't, let me help you every time. I remember Swamiji said to me once, I was going through a difficult period, and I just said, I just don't know if I can do it, Swamiji. And he just said, Dhyana, look what it takes to find God. I was shocked. He didn't baby me one bit. Then he said, look what I've had to go through. You're going to be fine. Wow. Now that lifted me up. And that was how Master was. If you needed it to grow, you have to grow. It's your own karma. You can't run away from it. I remember I was at one satsang once, and the Acharya was saying, your karma runs after you and it finds you. You can't hide from it, but you can strengthen yourself. So that the wife of Ramakrishna, Sharda Ma, said, if it's a devotee's karma to lose a leg, perhaps they'll get a scratch. Because your aura is so strong, the strength around you, the magnetism, the spiritual power, your guru's protection. Someone told me that they had taken a taken their family to Delhi from Gurgaon in their car. And then they parked their car. They had we have these at many of the centers, it's called a car protector. It's a picture of Master one side, Babaji on the other, one of the gurus on one side and then the other, and hangs from their car so that, it protects the car. So they had just gotten out of the car and they were moving along the street and a big vehicle comes and just boom, just finishes that car off. And they look back and say, oh my God, that car protector wasn't protecting the car, it was protecting us. And that's the thing, the master's protecting you, but you have to do your part. And I remember Master told this one disciple, he told him, don't hitchhike, it's not safe. The disciple always went around Master. So he was hitchhiking one day, got in a car, and he hears behind him, he hears a voice in his mind, his master's voice. He has a knife, and he turns around, the man is just getting ready to stab him. Master stopped it. The boy said, put that knife down. And then another time, this other, maybe it was the same guy who still didn't learn the lesson, but he was in the car. He was hitchhiking again. And he gets in the car, and they drive him to this place that's way out of town. And he gets out and they take him, to this house, and they knock on the door. They keep knocking on the door and nothing happens. So then they get the guy back in the car and then they throw him out of the car later. Master said, I told you not to hitchhike. I had to close the ears of everybody in that house just so they wouldn't hear the knocking. Now that's the guru's protection. You have to close the ears of the people. So have the faith. Do your part, but have the faith that the masters will help you and try to serve others. Just say, I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about everybody else. One of the most touching stories of my life was when one of my best friends passed away. And she was Leela's cook. She was Swamiji's cook and housekeeper. Her name was Leela. And the day after her husband passed away, of course, if people are grieving, she was grieving. We all were grieving. What does Leela do? She goes to Swamiji and she says, Swamiji, all I know is to serve you. Please allow me to make your lunch today. Wow. How many people do you know like that? How many people do you know? Swamiji gave the definition of an Anandacharya as someone who is in their own pain and suffering, still able, willing, desirous of helping others. During this time, think about helping others. What can I do for other people? How can I get out of myself, my own delusions? Let me serve as a channel of light of my masters. Now we'll go right into the rest of the satsang, which is some beautiful parts of the ceremony. Chanting Om at the chakras, an affirmation before that, the waves of Om and the ringing of the gong. So sit up straight and let's inhale and tense your body. Twice more. And now we'll do an affirmation. This is a very powerful affirmation from Master, from Divine. It's from the art of spiritual healing. I'll say the affirmation once, and then I'll have you say it with me in a loud voice several times, then more quietly, then ever more quietly, until we're whispering and then mental chanting. Please sit up straight. This is the words of this chant. And Master says here, concentrate at the medulla, close your eyes, and feel and visualize the light there. This is the affirmation, then we'll do it together. Listen once. Thy cosmic current flows in me, flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me, flows in me. I think and will the current to flow in all my body, the current to flow in all my body, the current to flow. I am charged, I am cured, I am charged, I am cured. Lightning flash goes through me. I am cured, I am cured. Please repeat. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Flows in me, flows in me. Flows in me, flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. I think and will the current to flow. I think and will the current to flow. Through all my body, the current to flow. Through all my body, the current to flow. I am charged, I am cured. I am charged, I am cured. Lightning flash goes through me. Lightning flash goes through me. I am cured, I am cured. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. I think and will the current to flow. I think and will the current to flow. Through all my body, the current to flow. Through all my body, the current to flow. I am charged, I am cured. I am charged, I am cured. Lightning flash goes through me. Lightning flash goes through me. I am cured, I am cured. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Flows in me, flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. I think and will the current to flow. I think and will the current to flow. In all my body, the current to flow. In all my body, the current to flow. I am charged, I am cured. I am charged, I am cured. I am charged, I am cured. Lightning flash goes through me. Lightning flash goes through me. I am cured, I am cured. Whispering, thy cosmic current flows in me. Thy cosmic current flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. Through my medulla flows in me. I think and will the current to flow. I think and will the current to flow. Through all my body, the current to flow. Through all my body, the current flow. I am charged, I am cured. I'm charged, I'm cured. I'm charged, I'm cured. Lightning flash goes through me. I'm cured, I'm cured. I'm cured, I'm cured. Now chant Om with me at each chakra. Not just locating, but trying to awaken the light, the energy in each of the chakras. And feel that light permeating your whole spine and brain. These notes are from Swami Kriyanandaji's meditation that he gave us for awakening the chakras. The Muladhara chakra first, focus there. Chant this note with me. The Swadhisthana chakra, about 1.5 inches up. Listen to the note. Sing along. Feel the energy there. Manipur, listen to the note. Sing along. At the heart, Anahat chakra. Vishuddha, the throat. Medulla. At the spiritual eye. Chanting Om, going back down, spiritual eye. Medulla. Vishuddha. Anahat. Manipur. Swadhisthana. Muladhara. Chant with me now, in harmony with this chord, the waves of Om. Feel the Om bathing your whole being. the gong and go into meditation. And the gong, Master said, is like the sound of Om. And in Om, just like what we chanted just now, he said, nothing can touch you. I'll end by reading about a disciple of Master's. His name was Horace Gray. He had multiple sclerosis, and I'll just read you very briefly about him. There was a monk with multiple sclerosis named Horace Gray, who assisted the minister at the Phoenix Temple in the late 40s. A Phoenix devotee couldn't understand why Master didn't heal him. One day, this thought was on the devotee's mind as she saw Master. And just as she was about to ask Guruji about not healing Horace Gray, Master said to her, "Isn't it wonderful that in this life, Horace is going to work out all of his karma that brought on his multiple sclerosis? Isn't it wonderful?" The devotee understood and never wondered again about this devotee's condition. And from then on, she was really inspired by this monk, especially near the end of his life, when he was so weak that he could no longer stand, but still desiring to serve Master in some way, he would lie down on the lawn at the hermitage and with his remaining strength, pull weeds one by one. And he did that to the very end. He was serving the best way he could. Let's close now by sending out God's blessings and light, healing vibrations to the whole world. Throughout India, all the Ananda centers, all Master's disciples everywhere here. Then around the globe, all Ananda communities, all Master centers, devotees, disciples, and people everywhere see a great light surrounding this earth, the Master's light. As we rub the hands together, feel their energy flowing through us as we lift the hands and chant Om 3 times together. Om. Divine Mother, great Masters, beloved Guru, we offer ourselves, body, mind, and soul, to Thee. Guide us, uplift us into Thy consciousness, into Thy light. We are Thine. Be Thou ours. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. God bless you all.